I'm using a yarn for the project called Sugar and Cream from the Lily Company, and I also like a product called Kitchen Cotton from Lion Brand. This is a worsted weight, non-mercerized cotton, and it's soft and absorbent, and I picked this one because I liked the colors. Please take note that this was rewound on a knitter's yarn winder. I don't work from the skein. I hardly ever work from the skein on a knitting machine. You don't want any friction as your yarn is feeding, and I'm going to use the yarn feeding from the center. Knitters call this a bird's eye pattern, this 111. It's just a checkerboard, and this pattern would work if I was on every needle, if I was doing full needle rib. I would want it to be double height, but it would work fine sideways. Now, if I'm going to do 1 by 1 rib, I need it to be twice as wide, so I'm going to do double width and double height. For this pattern to work, I have to set the carriage so that it does not select in needles. And on this particular machine, a Brother 270, the way you do that is by taking a transfer tool and turning the little screw right here. This position selects, this position does not select, and you do that on both of these pink plastic pieces. Now the machine will not select the last needle in a set of needles, and the reason that's essential is because these needles are by themselves, so if that were turned the other way, it would select every needle. Now I'm set for the zigzag row, the first step in the cast on. The main bed carriage is set for plain knitting, no buttons pushed, and it's on the tightest possible tension, which is below 0. And the ribber is set for plain knitting, and the tension is the tightest possible tension, which is tighter than 0. Here's the needle arrangement from needle 20 right to needle left 19, and this is every other needle. The end needles are on the main bed, and then the in-between needles, the purl needles, are on the ribber. I thread the carriage, and I do the zigzag row from right to left. Here's how that zigzag row looks after I put on the comb and the weight. For the circular rows, I put both carriages on tension 1 and bring up the right part button on the ribber and the left part button on the main bed, and then I knit 3 rows. One of the little quirks of this design is that I need the end needle to be on the ribber, but the machine doesn't cast on as well set up that way. So what I'm going to do is just E-wrap cast on to this end needle, and then I'll knit across and E-wrap cast on to the other end ribber needle. Here I am doing the same thing on the left. I just bring it up and E-wrap onto it. And then I'm going to go back to the right and set up for the pattern. Both carriages are set for plain rib now. I brought the carriage outside the turn mark, and I put on this KC wheel so that it will now select needles. And I'm going to knit 1 row plain from right to left. I depress both of the main carriage tuck buttons. Set my row counter to 0. And now I knit 45 rows. Once the 45 rows are done, set the machine for plain and a very loose tension. In this case, I used tension 9 and knit a final row. The machine is set for circular again, back down to tension 3, and I'm going to put 10 rounds of waste yarn on. This is my finished dishcloth. It's really quite thick. You get the honeycomb pattern on this side. The striping is the way that this yarn was dyed, and the only remaining step is to hide this end and this end in the knitting, and that is finished.